the MCU, talking about the 28th title in terms of releases. We're talking about the animated series called What If? It's on Disney+. The premise, The Watcher, is telling you about new realities, alternate versions of the MCU that you know and love from all the movies and all the shows, played out in a 20 to 30-minute story in an animated, or as Andy would call it, art way. It's the best. So fun. This one's called What If Thor Were an Only Child? 36 minutes, Thor, who never learned to be a good hero, throws an out-of-control intergalactic party on Earth. I had a lot of fun. I will give it up for the episode real quick.
Does he like to party?
I love to party. Thor, I think I've said this before, maybe my favorite character. I think probably my favorite character in the MCU. It's a big statement, I know, but I've always loved him. Thor Ragnarok, still maybe my favorite. And to see this episode of an alternate Thor where basically, spoiler alert for the episode, Loki's not his adopted brother. That's the only difference. You've seen Thor. You've seen all the Avengers movies. You know exactly what happens. Loki is trying to take over Earth, and it's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? And then you got Thor Ragnarok. Oh, you're pretending to be Odin, and all this nonsense and all this madness. Okay, none of that. This is literally just Thor as an only child. This is really picking on only childs, I think.
Wow, you're right.
Andy, tell us what you thought about this one, number 7 of What If, season 1.
I loved it. The last few have just kind of been keep getting better by better, and this is continuing that trend for sure. And we got 2 left. I can't wait to see where these ones go now.
And we can't wait to talk about how this one ends and how it begins.
Yes.
Episode 8. All right, let's just get into it. This one's a blast. So much fun. Like we said, Loki is not Thor's brother. How is that different? So if you're not familiar with the storyline, the parents of Thor, Odin and Frigga, they adopt Loki as a young Jotunheim baby during a big war with the ice giants. Well, in this version, he takes the baby back and gives him to his dad, which is like the right thing to do. Like, don't be stealing babies, especially when you know whose baby it is. I've always thought that was kind of messed up. So you kidnap this kid, turned him against his dad.
He turned out all right, I guess.
Woo! I mean, only because of Loki, and that's an alternate version.
Yeah.
So this is basically, hey, Thor's kind of a spoiled, young, rich kid, gonna be king one day. Very much a Simba story. Very much Simba here, right? You got a young king, arrogant. Thor will live to be thousands of years old. At this point, he's only maybe 1,500 years old, so that's a young man in Asgardian terms, I believe. And what's he like to do, Andy? He likes to party. His parents have to keep an eye on him. He doesn't have the beard anymore.
True.
He just has a bare face. This is Chris Hemsworth, right? I mean, it's got to be.
I don't know.
And if it's not, maybe we'll find out.
But I got it.
PC Giggler today.
PC Mike on the case.
No, I like it. Let us know if that's Chris Hemsworth. He's going to throw parties, man. That's his whole thing. And his whole other thing is like kind of hiding it from his parents. And what happens, his dad goes into the great slumber. He like goes to sleep. And his mom is like, I'm going out of town. And she's going out of town to hang out with her girlfriends on some other planet. Like, this is a time when, like, your parents are out of town. And this is Thor with all the powers, the hammer, Mjolnir, his gang of friends that you meet in the first Thor movie are all just hanging out. He's like, why don't we go party on Midgard, also known as Earth?
I like that place.
Andy, is it Chris Hemsworth?
I'm trying to find out.
Oh, I thought you already found it. I thought you were giving me the nod.
No,
don't rush. No rush. You're good. So he goes to Earth, and he's going to say he's just here to throw this party. Literally nothing else. You think he's there to take over. There's kind of like a scene where he's there in the middle of the city, and he's there with his friends, and you think that he's going to do like this hostile takeover, but it's, hey, turn up the music, invite all your friends, and get ready for a cameo episode from everybody in the whole universe, from the MCU universe. Every movie you've ever seen, you're about to see somebody.
Coulson.
You got Coulson back in S.H.I.E.L.D. You got Howard the Duck and Darcy. You get Darcy and Jane. And, did you find out the cast?
Yes,
all right,
all of the people you just said were voiced by their original.
So we got Chris Hemsworth here as Thor.
Yep.
We got Natalie Portman here as Jane Foster.
Yep.
We got Darcy Lewis played by, help me out.
Kat Dennings.
Of course, the lovely Kat Dennings. We got Clark Gregg playing Phil Coulson.
Yep.
We got Agent Hill, played by
Colby Smulders.
Yep, Colby Smulders. How I Met Your Mother. We got Seth Green. He played Howard the Duck.
Exactly. I saw him tweet about it the other day.
We got Korg. I'm sure that was Taika Waititi.
Sure was.
We got Loki. That was Tom Hiddleston.
Karen Gillan as Nebula.
Yeah, Nebula shows up. Karen Gillan. Hey, and guess who? Guess what version of Loki, guys? Not the one you know. We got Ice Giant Loki, which we got a tease of in a Loki episode.
Oh, wow.
Remember?
Good call. Good call.
They did the whole round of Lokis on the hologram. It was the exact one. He's there, and he's like, "My brother from another mother."
Hasn't he turned blue though before?
Yes, he has. It's not the first time, and like it's like when he lets his magic down, he's pretty much blue. But like I feel like in that world, he just would have grown up as an ice giant, and like which makes me think like Frigga was suppressing like his ice genetics.
Oh, for sure.
Which is like kind of weird to think about it, but.
Wow.
I know, getting a little too philosophical, but hey, the MCU, when you have this much of a universe, you're going to explore all the facets of it. We know too much.
I've never even thought of that as like a kidnapping, and now I'm like...
Yeah, Odin was kind of a bad guy, as we find out in Thor Ragnarok. Remember when she tears down the ceiling, and she's like, oh, proud how you got it, ashamed of how you got it.
You're right.
Anyway, Odin, he's fine. He came around.
That's hella deep.
Hella deep. Oh, nice. All right, so then the party's getting out of control. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s getting involved. They're like, what's going on? I mean, I got to highlight it again. Darcy and the Duck. Darcy and Howard the Duck. Like, basically, like, in a drunk night, they get married.
Man, I totally forgot about that.
Yes. And Thor and Jane get, like, matching tattoos. And she says, like, hers says magic, his says science. And I immediately thought, like, are me and Carrie going to get this? And I thought, like, how many of these tattoos will happen in the next 10 years?
QR code tattoos first, though.
First, mostly superheroes.
Like, how hard could that be? That looks like easy to draw.
Yeah, right. What else happens? Basically, S.H.I.E.L.D. runs out of options. They're like, the party's getting so big that they're breaking stuff, right? You got the giant fireman from Thor Ragnarok hanging on the Statue of Liberty, burns her arm off. And he's like, hey, lady. You got like just people messing up all sorts of cities, knocking down buildings now, and like not cleaning up after themselves, just making a big mess on Earth. And who do they call in for help? Oh, and why do they call him in for help? Captain Marvel. What
female Cap?
Female Cap. Captain Marvel. Yeah, not Cap Rogers, but Captain Marvel. Brie Larson. Is this her?
Shit, I didn't even look at that.
Look
That's
at
a good
that
question.
one. Captain Carol Danvers. I was like really blanking on her name for a minute. Carol Danvers. She comes in, and of course, like she does in Endgame, she's like, "Where's Fury?" Well, what happened to Fury? Well, he got taken out by Korg. And this is what basically was like, no one's gotten hurt yet. Well, the first person that really got hurt was Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. And he got basically like killed by Korg running through, remember?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So they call in Captain Marvel, and this is where the episode goes from a 6 to an 11.
It's not voiced by her, by the way.
It's not. I knew it.
Yeah.
All right, somebody else. And she says, get out of here, Thor. And he's like, why don't you just party? And she's like, no. And he's like, you're a party pooper. And everybody starts making fun of her, like pointing at her. And they have a fight in the desert. And I don't know about you, Andy, but I was getting Dragon Ball Z vibes.
This was my number one on my notes.
Oh, my gosh. The music, the intensity, the thunder, the God of Thunder versus Captain Marvel, all out battle. Who's going to win this thing? Punching on punching, power blast for power blast. I had the chills. I'm talking, I had like Infinity War. Thor comes in with Stormbreaker chills.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is a cartoon.
That's solid. Yeah, that's exactly.
And like I said, I'm honest about this episode. It was at a 6 because I was like, this is a little boring. And then it was a 11. All right, so they fight. She doesn't really get anywhere with him. He goes back to partying. And they've come up with this plan. S.H.I.E.L.D. and Captain Marvel take out Thor to the middle of the desert. And you can nuke him, basically, because Captain Marvel can like become like 10 nukes if she just explodes her energy. And he's like, all right. She's like, all right, I'll take his ass out there. I'll blow him to hell. And once they get out there, Agent Hill's like, we're going to nuke them both. And Clark Gregg's like, why? He's like, Captain Marvel's going to help us. And she's like, that's what we're going to do. Captain Marvel will be fine. And Captain Marvel's about to boom. Thor's about to like do more lightning. And the nukes are about to come in. It's all about to just go to hell, really. And because of Natalie Portman, because of Jane Foster, who bravely called Heimdall, had her take her up to Asgard, talked to Frigga, Thor's mom, was like, hey, your son's making a mess on Earth, calls his mommy, and she's like, she comes back, she interrupts the whole thing, and
Mommy.
And Thor like even says to Jane, she's like, you narked on me or something like that, like, you told on me, and the mom's coming, right? And you're kind of like, okay, the episode's probably over now. No, this is like the last mission of the episode. The last mission of the episode is Thor has to convince all the people that were partying to clean. It's like, guys, my mom's going to be here any minute, and I need you to help me clean it up. So they all band together, they clean it up, and basically kind of get away with it. Captain Marvel and Thor are on the same page. They kind of like fist bump, and then Frigga and all the Asgardians go back. Earth's okay, and he goes and sees Jane in her like science trailer, and he's there in the desert, and she opens the door, and it's like she's like, hey, and they're gonna be together. Like it kind of ends the same way as Thor. You're like, he's kind of finding the same journey now, and now he's got Captain Marvel. You got Jane, and you're just thinking like, I'm just kind of watching Thor be born again. This is cool. And it was the first happy ending of What If.
Wow.
So I thought.
Great.
So I thought. Do you remember?
Yes.
And then, as Thor walks off, there's a shadow in the distance. And the Watcher says, oh, so I thought. Because he says, like, it was a happy ending. And he's like, so I thought. And who is it? Portal comes through. Droids come through. Who's leading the droids? Who's in it? Ultron? With all the Infinity Stones? Oh, wait, he doesn't have the mind. Faceplate goes up. Vision body. Mind Stone, Ultron, all of them. Credits roll. Yeah, real. Holy shit. I was jaw on the ground. Tell me what you did.
When you said earlier that 6 to 11, that's what happened to me on that ending.
Yeah, we're at a 20 now. My ears are bleeding, at that point. It is Vision body inside of Ultron body, all the Infinity Stones, and he has just showed up to Earth. Oh my gosh. They have cliffhanged us every episode. This one, I mean, you can hear it. I mean, I was blown away. And I have to be a little selfish. It was also because I called this. This is giving up for the show. This is a humble brag. We already put it on Twitter and put it in the Facebook group because I'm a narcissist. But I was like, I had to tell you guys, this is what you're coming to the show for. Like, we are in tune with what's going on. I said this back in August. What if Ultron would have gotten the body he created of a Vision? And guess what, Andy? So this is the ending, right? Episode 7. Well, we've already seen the poster, baby. Episode 8, we're getting the story. Did you see that?
Yes.
So
it's beautiful.
It's got to be James Spader.
It's beautiful.
Right?
Oh, yeah, got to be.
Got to be James Spader.
Please be. It can't be anyone else.
Are you excited?
Yes.
How'd you feel about this episode? Tell me about it. Obviously, I fanboyed out.
You crushed it because it's at times I was like, I think I like fell asleep for a little bit during this.
I get it. I get it. So did Thor. There's a part where they're like waking up. They're like in the bed. Like Jane's like waking up in the bed and they're all like hung over and sleepy. And I was like, guys, pick out. But they knew they were going to pick it up.
But it still was, it was an amazing episode. And I like the end, like the sound, like of when that portal was opening. I can hear that right now in my head. Not even going to try to imitate it, but
it's like,
yep.
And it was like Thanos coming in. It's like the.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like that.
Yes.
Which makes sense.
And he has them all. And like the big question I've seen online is like, soul for a soul. How'd this guy get this thing? Well, I mean, he got it. And here's the thing. Not everybody that has all the Infinity Stones did a soul swap. Like the Avengers proved that in Endgame. Like you can just end up with the stones if you take them.
Maybe
well, that's not really true. Natasha died.
Maybe if we'll see it. Maybe we'll see it in this next episode.
Yeah, because I am like, what happens when this guy got that body from Age of Ultron? We're talking about Age of Ultron here. If you haven't relived Age of Ultron in a while, do yourself a favor and put it on. It is easily top 2, 3 Marvel movies. I mean, I dance around the word perfect on that movie. That's a very good Avengers film, and Ultron makes this body, the Avengers take it, and they make the Vision, they put the Mind Stone in it, and you're like, okay, Ultron gets killed. What if he got that thing? What happens next? We're going to see it in What If. episode 8, it looks like, Andy. And then a big finale. What's going to happen in this finale?
We were hoping that things were going to connect, and we're getting our wish, and I'm very pumped for that.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's like a sickness of just like the MCU, like just treating us that way for so long.
Yeah.
Of like everything connecting like that. But
yeah,
it's just pure beauty. / I'm a fanboy, but whatever.
Dude, it was good. And I'm a fanboy too. Fanboying out. You're hearing the nerd in both of us right now. This is Mostly Superheroes. And that was What If, episode 7, man. It's all happening at mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU. That's our Marvel Cinematic Universe library, connections, explanation videos, and it's in watch order, which at this point now, with as vast as the MCU has become, it's in chronological order, meaning timeline. Like, not release anymore, which I've talked about this a lot on the show. We are now full-fledged timeline order, meaning that you start with Captain America and then you make your way to Captain Marvel in the 90s. Like, I'm excited. I actually just restarted it. I told you recently.
How far are you?
I'm like 20 minutes from ending Captain America, the first Avenger. And then next will be Captain Marvel. And I really am excited because this is the MCU, like literally from a timeline perspective. And I'm going to watch every title. Cannot wait to get to WandaVision and binge this thing. Falcon Winter Soldier, get back to Loki again. And by the time I've done all this, who knows where the timeline, like we might be up to Spider-Man by then. I mean, I'm really there's no way.
I don't know.
No,
no
it'll
idea.
be 2022 before I finish. But
I would hope so.
either way, I'll give you guys little glimpses into that rewatch as I go, but we'll keep the reviews pumping at mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU